barbecue?
We don't, but he does. He's got a smoker. Okay, here we go. So we are cruising. We're cruising on to 5-8. Okay, let's talk about 5-8. More factoring stuff, but we're going to give some other parts of the factoring and the rules. Last time we did, I believe, what all of the C values, if you will, I believe all of those ones were positive on that. And so now we're going to do some factoring where the C values are negative, okay? And so let's do a few examples. Now when I say C values, we'll do a brief little review of this. This is 5-8 now. The C values being negative, I'm referring to when you have ax squared plus bx plus c. The other day, all the values that we dealt with, all the C values were positive. So all of our factors were either negative, or they were positive like that. When you did the homework and the notes, they were all like that, negative, or positive. Today, when the C value is negative, our factors are either going to be positive, negative, or we could write them as a negative and a positive. That's what we're going to be working on, is ones like that today. So just same concept, but working with problems that are a little bit different. And so let's just go with v squared minus 3v minus 4. Now one key component of this is the a value is still 1, the coefficient is 1. When the coefficient is 1, right here in front of the square value, we really only have to look at the 4 and the 3. That's what's really nice for us. And so when we do that, we set up our factors like a binomial times a binomial like we were doing. We look at the variable, it's v. So that's really nice. When it's a coefficient other than 1, we've got to mess with this, and it changes how we mess with that. We'll deal with that in the next section. So now we look at it and we say, what times what gives you a negative 4? That's what it is. Added together gives you a negative 3. So if we say, well, a negative and a positive will give me a negative. Because remember, these two multiplied together give me my last term. So if we said, well, let's go with a negative 2 and a negative, or a positive 2. Well, a negative 2 times a positive 2, that's the last terms multiplied together, that does give me a negative 4, right? However, when you add a negative 2 plus 2, does it give you negative 3? No. So this we would say, nope, does not work. So let's try the other factors that do work, okay? Well, the other factors that do work would be a 4 and a 1. Now, I switched this around and did it incorrectly for the purpose to switch it around and do it incorrectly. If we look at this, we say, let's check and see if our terms work. We say a 4v, because it's our outwards plus our innards, give us this middle term. 4v minus 1v gives me 3v, positive or negative? Positive. If you end up with the correct number, 3, but the wrong sign, because we got a positive, it gives me negative, simply switch and say, I got the right numbers, just need to switch the signs like that. So that's a nice thing. A little pro tip is, if I got the right number, just the wrong sign, I just have to change those signs and you'll have the right answer. A quick check is the FOIL method, first, outer, inner, last. The first, v squared, check. I usually do the last terms, negative 4, check. And then you get this middle term, it's your outers plus your innards. Negative 4 minus 1, negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. And you've done it correctly like that. Okay, let's just do a couple more here. What happens if you have one? Why don't you guys try this one? A squared minus 5a minus 24. Not necessarily tricky. There's no trick to it, just another set of numbers to try. So try that, number 2, and then check with your support team next to you, come up with an answer, and then we'll try
Please
this.
release the JV volleyball team. Thank you.
Wow, JV volleyball as well. Where are they going? Who knows? Is there a JV game today? Junior high.
There is a
volleyball.
junior.
Okay, very good. Okay, try number 3.
My apologies. Please release the junior high volleyball team, not the JV volleyball team. Junior high volleyball
Good
team.
work.
Thank
Junior
you.
high volleyball team. Okay. Nice job. Okay, so let's try these 3 problems. Get a value, get your factors. So go ahead, factor this, check with your support team around you. Come up with the 3 factors for this. We'll go over them, and then we will map it out. These ones all break down into binomial factors. Okay, let's go over number 2 together. What do we end up with our variable and our variable in the front? A, right? A times A squared. So usually, hopefully, all of us can at least do that, right? A times A will give us A squared. Then we got to do the question of 24. So you have a few options, right? 24 and 1, you have 2 and 12, and then 8 and 3. Which one would make, and 6 and 4 too. Which one would make the most sense? 8 and 3, right? Because 8 and 3 will get you to a 5. So we go 8 and we go 3. Then the question just comes, is it a positive 8 or a negative 8? And then a positive 3 or negative 3. If the middle term is negative, make your larger number negative. So that would be a negative 8 and a positive 3 like that. Okay? On number 3, we know we got the variable y, right? So we go y and y. And then our question is, we come up with the factors. We say, okay, 1 and 36, right? Well, 1 and 36 won't get you anywhere near 12 by adding them together or subtracting them. So you can quickly say, that's not going to work. Then we say, how about a 2 and an 18? Now, a 2 and an 18 won't get you to 12 by adding them together. So we get rid of that. So then what about 3 and 12? Now we're kind of getting closer to 3 and 12 won't get you to 12. It'll get you to 15 or 9. So then our other options would be 4 and 9. That gets you to 13, but not to 12. So then 5 doesn't work. What about 6? 6 and 6. So we say, a 6 and 6 gets me to 12. So we say that's got to be it. So we go 6 and we go 6. The issue is that we say, okay, positive or negative. Well, one's got to be positive, one's got to be negative, right? And then you move on. No, because you checked it, right? What did you check? You checked your outwards, which is negative 6, plus your innards, which is positive 6. What's a negative 6 plus 6 give you? 0. I'm looking for what number? 12. So does that work? No. It looks pretty close, but does not work, so cross that off. Have we exhausted our options? I'll give you a pro tip. Yeah, we have. So therefore, if none of the options work, we call this prime. Yep, prime. Later, we'll still be able to solve it with other methods, just not the methods of factoring. So we call it prime. Can't factor it with our methods. Not factorable. Okay, the last one is kind of similar to one we did last week, where we have the double variable. Don't let the double variable confuse you. Still, okay, p squared, we go p. How do we deal with the q squared? We talked about it last week. Do what? Yeah, just put it on the ends, right? Q on the ends. Now it's taken care of. We don't need to worry about it. We're back to asking the questions of what gets us to 36, and then added together gets us to 16. We actually kind of did the work over here. Did 1 and 36 get us to 16? No. 2 and 18 get us to 16. Yeah, you bet. So we're going to go 2, and we're going to go 16. Because we know, I'm sorry, that is wrong. 18. Like 2 and 16 is 32. Yeah, 2 and 18. There we go. 2 and 18 gives us the 36. And now then the question is one positive, one negative, so on and so forth. So what do we do?
Yes.
Yes? So if we say, okay, positive and positive, that'll give us positive 36. But does 2 and 18 give us 16? No. Because they're adding together, right? So that gives us 20. Well, what if we did negative? Well, the issue there is what? A negative and a negative will yield a positive, but a negative 2 minus 18 is going to give us a negative what? 20. Okay, so that doesn't work either. That gives us a negative 20. We're looking for a negative 16. So do 2 and 18 work for us? They do? Negative 18 and then plus 2, like that, okay? We look at that, but then that's going to give us a what? Negative 18 and a positive 2 will give us a negative 36. Do we want a negative 36? No, we want a positive. So that one doesn't work either. You have to be careful with that, a little tricky. So if that is what it looks like, what do we end up with again? Prime. Okay, you don't have tons of prime options, okay, but there are some that'll pop up for you, and you have to really analyze. That's why it's important, because our brain says, my brain says, hey, 2 and 18, great, that's 36. 18 minus 2 is 16, done. But you got to check it, because you're saying outwards plus innards, so 18 plus 2 is 20. Negative 18 minus 2 is negative 20. And then you're like, oh, perfect. Negative 18 and 2 gives me the negative 16, but not when you multiply together, that gives you a negative 36. We're looking for a positive. So make sure you check some of the work on that. Okay? We're going to stop there. You only have 3 through 24 every third, so only 8 problems of factoring. Hopefully this is some lighter work for us, getting our work done in class, hopefully, and a little reprieve from homework at home.
You got slippers too.
Yeah. Do you have slippers?
Nah.